The college basketball summer coaches tour for the Fairfield Stags head Coach Chris Casey edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with our promo code TCESGPN to score up to $1,000 bonus cash. Underdog Fantasy promo code TCESGPN. And we're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial today by going over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That is the sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. And it's NFL football season, so make sure you enter our free roll football contest. $3,500 up for grabs and prizes. Go over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/free roll to enter today. Welcome, everybody, to the college basketball experience summer coaches tour. We continue on our journey, getting closer and closer to November 4th. Thursday, September the 5th, we will sit down with the head coach of the Stags, a.k.a. the Fairfield Stags, that is. Coach Chris Casey will join the program here in a minute. But first off, I am Moneyline Mac, a.k.a. the former video coordinator for Bob Huggins and Frank Martin. Also known as Mac Tonight over here at the college basketball experience. And yes, we will continue our summer coaches tour. Go check out all our other episodes that we've done so far this offseason. I believe Coach Casey's like 32 or 33. So appreciate him taking the time to join the college basketball experience. And let's talk some MAAC, man. I mean, this is one of the better leagues, one of my favorite leagues, Friday and Sunday. I love the way that they format their season, and Coach Casey did an unbelievable job last year. Interim, he took over the job in, I believe it was late October, right before the season started, and he talks about just the transition from assistant coach over to the head coach last year in such a time where the program needed leadership, and that's exactly what he did. 24 wins, gets a contract extension. So, I mean, it's really one of the better coaching jobs and definitely one of the more underrated coaching jobs on a national scale. I know we highlight it here on the college basketball experience every single night, but the national people did not. So that's why we're your source, Fairfield fans, all season long, every single night. Real quick, before Coach joins the show, just got the notification the video is good to go. We are brought to you by over at the college basketball experience, Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with our promo code TCESGPN to claim your special pick and first side deposit offer up to $1,000 in cash. Underdog Fantasy promo code right above my head, TCESGPN. And it's also NFL season, so make sure you participate in our $3,500 up for grab free roll football contest, that is. Sign up today with the sportsgamblingpodcast.com/free roll. That is the sportsgamblingpodcast.com/free roll. Back on the college basketball experience, the head coach of the Fairfield Stags, Coach Chris Casey. And we continue our summer coaches tour on the college basketball experience with the head coach of the Fairfield Stags, Coach Chris Casey. Coach, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Ryan. Summer's gone by like a blur, and in a couple of months we'll be playing college basketball. So looking forward to that.
The summer did go by a blur. The season is already here. But, Coach, you guys had a great first year. Obviously, some crazy circumstances on how the season began, but you guys righted the ship, 24 wins. But just talk about the summer you guys had headed into your second year at Fairfield.
I thought we had a good summer. You know, it's there's always a balancing act there because, there's no games, obviously, in the summertime. and it's just about practice and getting better. The goals we had, there were 3 goals we had. We wanted to make sure everybody got bigger, faster, stronger. So we spent a lot of time in the weight room and with strength and conditioning and mobility. I thought that was very important. And then the 2 goals on the court were we wanted to expand everybody's game and really work on their game. And then the second goal on the court, because we have so many new guys, we had 8 scholarships available on April 1st. So that put a lot of new guys in the program. And I thought it was important to get some of what we do in during the summer, just so that when we went into the fall, we weren't starting from scratch. So, excuse me, those were the 3 things that we really paid attention to and put a lot of time into.
And the summers are completely different than they used to be. It used to be just you would go away for a couple of weeks. Now it's a full-time job. So, Coach, I want to I'll come back to your current team here in a little bit, but I want to talk about your playing career. You played at Western Connecticut State. I just talk about your playing career. You're a Northeast guy, and when you knew you wanted to get into this coaching industry.
That's a short conversation, my playing career, Ryan. I thought this was a longer podcast than that. No, I was fortunate, to play for a guy that I still talk to, Bob Campbell, at Western Connecticut State University, Division III school here in Connecticut. And, it was an amazing experience. I came out of high school, at that time there was no AAU, there was no travel teams. It was really just, summer leagues, and my buddy and I would throw a ball in our car and go drive down to the Bronx or drive somewhere and try to find games, So there was really no recruiting in my career. So I decided to stay local. I went to Western Connecticut, and it was a great experience. I got a chance to play for an outstanding coach. He's a legendary guy here in New England, Bob Campbell. He's retired now, but it's great because he still comes to our games along with some of our teammates. So that's really kind of, I enjoy seeing those guys sitting in the stands. So that was a terrific experience. And really what happened to me, Ryan, I'll give you the long story short. So when I was a senior in college, I had an internship. I majored in business and the management information systems, which at that time was the beginnings of computer science. So I had that dual degree, and I had an internship at a company called Ethan Allen in their marketing department, doing marketing and analytics, the beginnings of analytics, things like that. And my father, to divert a little bit, my father, I was the first person in my family to go to college. My father did not go to college, was in the Army, got out of the Army, got in on the ground floor at IBM, and basically started in the mailroom, worked his way up. So he spent his life in an office setting. He played some high school basketball. He was a sports fan. So after about a couple months of this internship, it became full-time, and I came home one day. I said to my father, I said, "Pop, I don't know how you do this every day, man. Sit at a desk in a cubicle and do off. I don't know if I can do this." And he said, "Well, what do you want to do?" And I said, "Well, I want to coach college basketball." And at that time, I had done a little bit with my high school team and, ran some Saturday basketball programs and stuff like that. I said, "Well, that's what I want to do." And he said, he was great because he said, "You know what? Go for it. I'll help you where I can. Have a plan B, but just go all out and we'll figure it out." And I did. Quick other part to this story. So at that time, there's no internet. I went to the library. There was probably about 230 Division I teams at that time. So I hand wrote all of them with my resume looking for a graduate assistant's job.
Yeah.
And somewhere in my mom's house is all the rejection letters that I got. The one funny one was from North Carolina and Dean Smith. So his letter said, "Thank you for your interest in coaching at North Carolina. However, we saved these positions for our former players. I will, however, keep your resume on file with the 1,500 other resumes I have of people that were interested in coaching at North Carolina." So that one's floating around somewhere, and I always think back to that and go, "Thanks for the encouragement there, Dean. I appreciate it." But that's how I got into it. I was fortunate enough at the end of that summer to land the GA at Central Connecticut State. Bill Dietrich was the coach then, a legendary guy. Has since left us, but was really instrumental in me getting started. And I was there as a GA for 2 years, and then went from there.
And Coach, I want to talk about your different head coaching stops after that. You bounce around, whether it's Western Connecticut State, St. Francis, St. Peter's as an assistant, but then you got your first head coaching job at Rutgers, Newark, and then LIU Post a couple years later, and then Niagara. What did you take away from each and every one of those stops that has helped you in your first year at Fairfield?
Well, so Rutgers was my first head coaching job. At that point, I felt like I needed to my goal was to be a Division I head coach. And I felt like I needed to get some head coaching experience on my resume. So I was fortunate enough to get that job. And I got that job on October 10th. The season started on October 15th. And we had 5 guys on the team. So I spent the next 5 days running around in the dorms trying to find, 6, 7, 8 more guys that had any basketball experience. And they were coming off some not so great seasons. At one point, they held a long-standing record for most losses in college basketball in a row. So that was I really kind of learned how to build there. Because that was from scratch. And by my third year, I had some good kids on the roster who I still speak to, and we were fortunate enough to get ranked regionally, and we made the postseason ECAC tournament, which for Division III is like the equivalent of the NIT at that time. So I spent 3 years there. From there, I had a couple other assistants jobs. My next head coaching job was at CW Post out on Long Island. And I followed a guy by the name of Tim Clues, who basketball fans will know. And he was very successful there, and went from there to Iona and was very successful at Iona. We had 3 very good teams there. 2 of them went to the NCAA tournament. I thought one of our teams had a chance to really win the region. And we had a first round tournament game against the Delphi. Our best player, who was an All-American, Steph Bernot, suffered a hyperextension in the last 6 minutes of the game of his knee. And that took him out. We had like an 8-point lead at the time. We lost at the buzzer in that game. But I really felt like we had a chance to win the region with that one. And really what I learned there is how to sustain a program. We brought in a bunch of recruits, but they had a winning history there, thanks to Tim Clues and some people before him. So I kind of really learned to sustain that. And my next stop was at Niagara. I was fortunate enough to get my first Division I job at Niagara, which is a great place. There's some challenges there because of location and resources in some ways. So I kind of learned a lot to find a way to get things done with what you have. Yeah. We had a struggle our first couple of years. We got hit with a serious transfer bug in the second year that I was there. And so my first year when I started, we had 5 guys on the team in April when I got the job. And after 2 years, we brought in a good group. We're the youngest team in the country. I think we won 5 of our last 6. And we got hit with a transfer bug again, to a number of places, South Carolina, Miami, Auburn. We just got hit with a bunch of spots. So we had to start over again. 3 years after that, I think we put a very good team together. Won 19 games, finished 3rd in the league, led the league in scoring at 83 points a game. And again, we got hit with an injury with 5 games to go. We had a young man named Matt Scott, who's from Brooklyn, who actually is on our staff right now. We just hired him this year, and I'm really excited to have him with us. But he was a 3-time All-MAAC guy. He was in a backcourt with a kid named Khalil Dukes, who ended up being Player of the Year that year. And he goes down with a high ankle sprain at Iona with 5 games to go. And he was averaging 19 and 7 at that point. So I really thought that team might have been on track to win the whole thing. I thought we were playing well. There was some other very good teams too, but I thought we were right there. But we weren't going to survive that injury. And then came here as an assistant at Fairfield. And there was some, kind of a crazy turn of events this past October, and took over that job, and was fortunate enough to have a good group that really bought in and stayed with it, because we struggled at the start. We had a 1-6 start. but they stayed with it. We had a good group of guys, young guys, and they really played for each other. And it just kind of clicked at one point, and then we took off.
And Coach, I want to talk about this last year too. So October, I think 16th or 17th, I forget which day it was. It was right before the season. Coach Young steps down. Just talk about that process, keeping that locker room together. I know you were on staff, so you keep everybody intact, but just dealing with early adversity that helped you guys throughout the season.
Yeah, it was October 16th. I remember that because it was my birthday. And it was a difficult situation, because, I was going to stay on and coach the team, one, because I needed a job, and two, because it was really a great group of kids. But at the same time, it's difficult because now you're going to coach without people there who you have long-term friendships and relationships with, and that's not fun. That's difficult. And that kind of still bothers me a little bit to this day. But basically, the season's going to happen, fellas. So we might as well just get to work. We made some changes on how we played. One way is not better than another. I just want to coach what I'm comfortable with. And so we made some changes. It took a while for that to fall into place. I kept sending a message to our guys. Listen, our timeline is going to be a little different than everybody else because of when we're starting. And to our guys' credit, they stuck with it. We had great leadership from the older guys, especially Caleb Fields, who had an outstanding season for us. And it just kind of clicked and we got rolling. And the biggest thing this team did was they really played for each other. The relationships were fantastic. And it was fun to watch at times. You're always coaching, but there was times I just admired, the way they played for each other. So I really enjoyed it.
And Coach, obviously you guys had success, 24 wins, 14 wins in the MAAC. You coached in this league already before. What's just your overall thoughts on the different styles, different coaches, different venues? It's a regional league, obviously, in the Northeast. Just your overall thoughts of the league altogether.
Well, the league is a great league, and we're a strong league too. There's some leagues losing people because of conference affiliation and, movement from conference to conference. We just added 2 teams, so we have 13 teams now. So we have a very strong league, and it's a great league. If it's really, over the years I've been in it, this will be my 20th year coaching in this league, in one role or another. So my impression of it always has been it's a guard league. The guards are always very, very good in this league, and they have been for a long time. So they go at each other, and the competition level at the guard spots are really, really good. Those other positions are really important too, and they definitely play a role. But by and large, it's been a guard league. Most teams play fast. I think scoring's been down in the league a little bit over the last couple of years. But we like to get up and down, and we want to score. This past year in conference play, we led the league in scoring, and I want to have a team that, I want to take good shots, but I want to get up and down. I want to play a style, that people enjoy watching and guys enjoy playing.
And Coach, what's just your overall thoughts on the conference tournament too, as well? I know it's changed venues over the years. It's one of the more entertaining conference tournaments. You guys have had success in March Madness. Just how do you approach a one bid league where, unfortunately, the dark side of the mid majors is only one team gets to the big dance?
Yeah, that's not easy, right? That's a
especially
tough
when
one.
you're favored, like you guys were last year. Like you're one of the top seeds.
Yeah, it's difficult. Really, I'm very much a day-to-day guy. I just really pay attention to what needs to be done in that day. Obviously, you have long-term goals and you have long-term thoughts. You wouldn't be human if you didn't. But I really don't. I don't talk much about, winning and who we have to beat and treating one game different than the other. And my thing is, I just want to come in that day. I want to compete hard. I want to be really good in that day. I want to make progress, and I want our guys to enjoy practicing and enjoy playing with each other. That's really what I pay attention to. Teams have different needs. Players have different needs. I think that varies from year to year. based on those needs is, what we do in practice. But really, that's all I want to be. I just want a bunch of guys to go compete hard and have fun doing it and play for each other. And that's really the message we send. We don't talk a lot about, hey, there's one bid. That's it, guys. So I want to take the pressure off performance by stressing the everyday work, just stack good days. Just do that. And then, obviously what's going to happen is what's going to happen. But I truly believe if you approach it that way, you're going to have some difficult days, but you're going to have far more better days. And that's what's going to give you a good chance at the end.
And Coach, you've taken a lot of your time, and I appreciate it. I know, guys, the new semester starting. You're ready to get to work 2 months from the season. I want to leave you with one last question for Fairfield fans. Last year was an exciting year. You could see it in the excitement of the fan base. 24 wins, 14 league wins. Year 2 of the Chris Casey era. What's your message for fans headed into the season?
My biggest message is do what you did last year times 5. Just come out and support us. We got a great venue, and the university did an amazing job putting this brand new $50 million arena together. It is a state-of-the-art arena, and it's a fantastic place to call home. And we had some electric crowds last year. We got good support from the students and the community, families in the community. And I want to multiply that by 10. Let's sell the place out every home game, and let's make it a real home court advantage and come out and support these guys. You're going to like watching us play, and you're going to enjoy the games. That's my biggest message to our fans.
Can't wait, Coach. Can't wait for Friday nights in the MAAC. When you guys had a couple of those home games on national TV, it was great to see your program get the spotlight you guys deserve. Coach Casey, thank you for stopping by the College Basketball Experience. Best of luck this season, and definitely look forward to having you back on.
Thanks, Ryan. I enjoyed it. Come back and see us when you're off the podcast. Come by a game and say hello.
Will do. See you, Coach. Coach Casey of the Fairfield Stags in the MAAC. I also like to say the MAAC, baby, because it gets electric once we get to league play. It's one of my favorite leagues. I talk about it all the time. They do scheduling right. Friday night spotlight games, Sunday afternoon games. It's also a very regional league, like Coach talked about. St. Peter's, Marist, Merrimack, Fairfield, Quinnipiac, Ryer, Iona, the Mount, Canisius, Niagara, Manhattan. Who am I missing? Siena, Sacred Heart. I think I got them all. Love the MAAC, and appreciate Coach making the time to come on the show. This is the first of a triple header today over here at the College Basketball Experience. Who else is doing a triple header on September 5th? Who needs Chiefs Ravens when you can preview? Well, first off, talk to Coach Casey of the Fairfield Stags, and number 2. We're starting conference previews here tonight over in the NEC, breaking down all 9 teams. Yes, they have 9 teams in their league, so that'll be at 8 o'clock Eastern. Coming up next year, Noah and I will continue our trim for the day. That's a daily segment that we have just started this week, and it's going to be every single day leading you up to the college basketball season on November 4th in the weekdays, that is. We won't do the trim on the weekends. We'll do the trims on the weekend when we get to the season. Weekdays for just now. So we'll be up next year. I got to pay the bills on the way out before I get over there and join Mr. Beanick to break down the UConn news. Because we're brought to you by Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial today by going over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That is the sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Build your motto over there today. And we're also brought to you by Game Time. Game Time's absolute best. Stuff's expensive nowadays. Save a couple bucks by getting on over there to Game Time. Use our promo code CFBX, and it's the best, man. They send you a picture of where you're sitting at so that there's no obstructive view, etc. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CFBX for $20 off. Download the Game Time app. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Back over here at the College Basketball Experience. I want to thank Coach Casey. Can't wait for the MAAC. I'm going to get up to a couple games this year, and can't wait to cover this league. It's one of my favorite leagues. It's Friday night, Mayhem, and MAAC. So he did a great job in his first year. Appreciate those guys. And looking forward to year number 2 of the Coach Casey era. So, all right, real quick, kind of teased it out. Up next, Noah Beanick and I on our TCE trim of the day, breaking down the Big 12 and UConn. Then at 8 o'clock, we'll see you over there in the NEC preview. The first of 31. 31. I thought there was 32. I said that last night. There's only 31. So this has been another edition of MAAC Tonight, signing off over here at the College Basketball Experience. Cheers, everybody. November 4th is coming. You better start thinking about yours. And we are out of here.